All right, welcome back, Fuzzles Arcade. Sunday, getting a little late in the day, Sunday afternoon. And what we did here, this is a tube that had a Chinese chassis on it, and we took the Chinese chassis off. There it is. It worked. Yeah, this is one of those other ones. Several of those Chinese chassis. And we went ahead and put one of our Vision Pros that was on a tube that wasn't so hot. So this tube was good. Now, this Vision Pro probably needs to have new capacitors. I mean, you can see the cement there in between those two big ones. These bad boys are originals. They're kind of a, I don't know, they're a brand I've seen these on these chassis, but I don't think they're the greatest. So we really need to probably put a cap kit in it, but we just had to kind of get it going here and see if this thing was going to work. Now I've adjusted a little bit, and if you'll notice, you know, it's really hard to film a CRT monitor with a modern device, but up here, you use this little line right there, little fold over action. I've tried to adjust that, and that's about the best that I can get it. But what we're going to do is we're going to put it on, we're going to put a real PCB on it, and we're going to check it out. It's got pretty darn good convergence. Okay, it's not bad. It's presentable. It's not perfect, but we want to look at it with a real PCB attached to it, not the test pattern generator. So give me a second. I'm going to hook up the Ninja Gaiden, and we're going to look at it and see how cool that looks. So I'll be back with the Ninja Gaiden board hooked up here in just a minute. All right, we've got the Ninja Gaiden board out here. It's hooked up, and there's the power supply for the test rig right there. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to power up that first. Power up that. And we got to find the cord for the power supply for that, which we just found. All right, so we're going to power up. There, you see the old light come on? So we got power to the Ninja Gaiden board. The video is all hooked up. So now we're going to power up our monitor here. I got to move a little plug here. It's going to get dark for a second. Okay, here we go. Going in for the plug. It's dark, I can't see it. Boom. All right, let's see what happens here. There should be awesomeness here. Oh, that does look pretty awesome. Let's just watch it here for a minute, people, and see if it's awesome. Okay. Well, it kind of gives you the idea there. It, tweaking the brightness here a little bit, maybe. We're going to let it run through its thing here a little bit, and we're going to watch it and see. Got some raster lines on there. We're gonna tweak the flyback here a little bit. Do a little adjusting here and see if I can get that a little bit better dialed in here. I'll be back in a second. All right, we just expanded the width a little bit and turned the flyback down a hair and turned the brightness up and the contrast up a little bit. And that's not looking too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Yeah, very different on the real PCB than the test pattern generator. The sizing's different. Just the adjustment is just different. So there's a lot to be said for you know, getting a real good feel for what the monitor's doing or not doing by hooking it up to a real PCB. So that's what we did, and it's looking okay. It's looking okay. Might have a little bit heavy on the green here. Might be a little light on the blue. Let's just look at that real quick while we're doing it. Let's see here. Green drive, red drive right here. Blue drive. I think this is it. Turn that up maybe a little bit. Just I'm doing some little tweaks back here right now. Dude's running in, he's got some lightning, it's raining, he's got his swords. He's jumping in, they're fighting. Ooh, the red looks cool. That looks good. And that just does look like he had a good day there. Yeah. Ninja Gaiden, people. And it is trademarked, so don't get any ideas, okay? 1988. 1988. Yeah, there we go. That looks a little bit more vibrant, doesn't it now? Sure. That looks pretty good. Tweak the vertical size here a little bit. See if we can fill the screen up just a little bit more. There. Look at that beer in a vending machine. Now, they have that in other countries. You bet they do. Okay. Look at the eyeball. He's looking at you. It's a pretty cool touch. All right, so, you know, winners don't use drugs. We all know that, yeah. William Sessions, sure. That goes back a few days. And so don't use drugs, and, you know, always test your monitor for the finishing touches with a real circuit board, like that one right there. And if you ain't got one of those, then, you know, use whatever you got. And then you can just sit and enjoy it, running through the attract mode. And that's what we're doing. Sure. All right, well, with that, you know, I'm just going to hang out here for a while and watch this thing. And I appreciate you coming along and hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you soon on the next video. Later. Hey, Lewis, what are you doing? What do you think about this this video we just did? Everybody really liked it, but they wanted to see what you were doing. Yeah. So Lewis is just out chilling on a nice day out in northern Alabama. So we got the monitor going good. Everything's looking cool. So Lewis is pretty stoked about it. And so yeah, that's what we like. Can't ever have enough working monitors, huh, Lewis? We are going to put some new caps in it, Lewis, and make it more awesome, okay? So don't worry about that. I know you were worried about it. All right, well, say goodbye to everybody, Lewis. All right, everybody have a wonderful Sunday evening and a great week. We'll see you. Hey, Lewis, you brought up a really good point that I forgot to totally talk about. We got to talk about the tube swapping and the ohms on the yoke and so on and so on. So Lewis fortunately reminded me about that, which was a really great job, Lewis. And so we're going to go over that real quick right now, okay? All right, thanks a lot, Lewis. Okay, so, here's the thing you got to understand about if you're going to swap a tube to another monitor chassis. Not all of these are the same. That's the critical component right there. Okay, now there's other factors and stuff, but if it's a 19-inch monitor, then really, this is the main thing you're worried about. Okay, if you put your ohm meter, and I'm not going to do it because I've only got one hand. It's really a two-handed job, but one of these is your horizontal winding, like these two, and these two are your vertical winding. Maybe it's backwards, but either way. So you put your meter, your probe here and your probe here, you get a reading, and you put your probe here and your probe here and you get a reading. Well, I wrote it down on here. So the horizontal winding was 14.2, the vertical winding was 1.9. Okay, and that's on your ohm setting. So let's go back over here. I had to step over Lewis there. So we did the same thing on this tube, and it was exactly the same on the one reading, and it was just slightly different on the other, okay? It doesn't have to be exact, but it needs to be pretty close, okay? So that's what you got to be aware of, okay? Now, I think this is actually even the same, yeah. It's the same type of tube. Now, I didn't check. Every now and then you'll end up with one that has the exact same model number and everything. But it's not so much the tube itself. It really depends on the yoke that we put on it. So this is what they call a low impedance yoke. So, and it's more of a standardized, what you find on most, like Wells Gardner's K7000s, that kind of series of monitor. So low impedance yoke. If this was an Electrohome like a G07, the one number would be like 59 or 60. It'd be way the heck up there. It's a high impedance yoke. So, this tube would not work at all. The one other factor I should mention is the socket down here. Okay, this is a small socket. There you do run into a few that have larger sockets too. So you got your socket has to be compatible as well. There's really only a couple that you run into, so that's just something to be aware of. Most of them you run into are the smaller size sockets. Most of your older monitors, like a G07, they actually do have a larger socket, but it's obvious when you look at it. You can tell. So you just have to check your neck board and make sure your pins are, everything's the same. As long as that matches and your ohms here are really close, it doesn't have to be perfect, but close, that tube should work with the chassis. So just something, Lewis said you gotta make sure you point that out. So there you go. All right. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk with you soon. What are you doing, man? Come here. Oh, yeah, you're a good boy. You want to go in the house? Okay. All right, buddy. Gosh, you're handsome. Look at you. Okay, let's go in the house. What do you say? Okay. Sure we will. Okay. You purr loud. It's great to be the arcade cat, isn't it? You know, Lewis, this might be a good opportunity to show everybody what you did today. Okay. I'm gonna take him in and show him. Okay. Okay. Lewis made a big step in his life. Lewis enrolled in college. He's gonna expand his horizons, and I'll show you here in just a second. Yeah, Lewis is pretty proud of himself. He's enrolled. He's a student at the university. Got a student ID card and everything. So there you go. He's a Renaissance cat for sure. Arcade cat, Renaissance cat. He's a trendsetter, people. Arcade Lewis.